Ladybeard! Hey, podcast kittens, it's Cathy Cat and...
Oh, Ladybeard coming at you with another tooth cleansing. Oh, that's a strange series of actions.
Teeth flossing.
Hey, edition of Cat with Beard. We have the special guest to end all special guests today, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
We have the specialist guest who ever guested in any kind of guest arrangement. Ladies, gentlemen, other friends, please welcome the Beast, the absolute undisputed champion of famous foreigners in Japan, the one and only Mr. Bob Sapp! Yes! Bob, my dear friend, hey man, how are you?
Konnichiwa. Now, you gotta get it right. It's Bob the Beast Sapp.
Bob the Beast Sapp.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it. How are you, man? We haven't seen each other for a long time.
Yes, fantastic. You know, things are going real well. I actually retired out here in Thailand.
Retirement in Thailand. Let's cut in some of
like
this.
the sweet life.
Yeah, sounds like a very nice life.
Yes.
But since mentioning
Yes,
life,
absolutely.
we would love to.
Well,
find out
very
more
nice.
about
So,
your life.
you know, basically my day consists of getting up in the morning, and it's just exactly what you can imagine. It's the tropical, so it's a lot of tropical drinks, you know, and I'm fortunate to where I have a full, basically I have a private resort, so full staff service and everything, so it's very nice. And I relax and train all day. It's good stuff.
That is, you are living the life, my friend.
Oh
That
my
is how to do
gosh.
retirement in style.
Oh my gosh.
Bob, for anyone who lives in a strange alternate universe who doesn't know very much about Bob Sapp, just very in the briefest way possible, just introduce yourself and tell us about your career in a nutshell, if possible.
Who is Bob Sapp?
Okay, so Bob Sapp went to the University of Washington, where he was an offensive lineman. I won some prestigious college awards, and one of which, of course, achieving my bachelor's degree and winning the Morris Trophy and becoming a third-round draft pick to the then Chicago Bears. I was ended up getting released and traded to Minnesota Vikings, and then to put my entire career was over, I ended up getting Achilles tendonitis, getting out of the NFL. So after that, I went on to I went on to WCW, World Championship Wrestling. And for once they kind of taught me how to do this pro wrestling gimmick that you always see me where I switch back in and out. So that kind of thing. So I went on into there for WCW. Later, WCW would then go bankrupt. I would have a tough man fight against William the Refrigerator Perry. William the Refrigerator Perry ended up I beat him up, and I got the eye of the Japanese, which was a K1 organization, then K1 and Pride organization at the time. I went over to Japan, and what happened on Japan is absolutely became amazing. I ended up for example, in the year 2010, American Idol had a finale, and the finale that they had was generated 25 million views for that audience. That was absolutely amazing. So when it gets Bob Sapp versus Akebono, and I got 54 million views, and that was just with Japan. So that ended up getting the world record. I've graced the cover of Time Magazine, Wall Street Journal. They've ended up doing to where I put over $1 billion within my revenue into Japan. And of course, everyone touts me as one of the greatest fight entertainers of all time. So that's how we can make it up.
Oh my God,
Mr. Sapp, I am honored that you are joining us today on our little podcast, my friend. No one's putting $1 billion into Cat with Beard from Japan.
No, not yet. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, for coming onto our show.
That's right.
So you guys have met before.
We met before. We did a TV commercial for Takasu Clinic. We did that together back when I first got to Japan. So you're talking 2014 or so.
That's right. Did like Takasu Clinic. Yes, Takasu Clinic.
Yes, Takasu Clinic.
And I think you also did a documentary together. Is that right?
That's right. And we also both featured in the documentary Big in Japan.
Yes, Big in Japan, which was a documentary about all the wonderful things that can happen to you as a foreigner in Japan, seeking everything from fame, fortune, and entertainment. Well, hey, we were two of the best guys to do it, and we got on that show. And hey, that documentary did pretty well because, by the way, it was even seen on the airplanes. So
yeah,
good.
It is on the airplanes, isn't it? Have you watched yourself on the plane? It's good, eh?
Yes. It was pretty cool. So it was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
And you've been here before at Nippon Cultural Broadcasting as well, I heard. You've been here on radio show.
I've performed in many places, so definitely been down in Nippon Broadcasting many a time.
So Bob, let's kind of back up a bit and let's go through things for anyone who, needs filling in on their proper hardcore Bob Sapp history. So when you left the NFL, you then went to WCW, and then you had your match with the refrigerator. That got you then scouted by K1. So you came to Japan, but K1 is a kickboxing establishment. It's not pro wrestling.
K1 was what they call would be stand-up striking. So you basically could do, think of it as Muay Thai or striking with your fists with boxing gloves on, knees, fists, and high kicks allowed and low kicks allowed. So it was considered the most brutal of all stand-up striking competitions. I also fought within the Pride organization, which was then and is currently still always world-renowned, known for being the most brutal and most craziest of all fighting competitions out there. So nobody is, everyone always says pride never dies. So, no one has ever beaten the records that we have set forth back then. They still have not been beaten now. So it's pretty good stuff.
I'll just fill Cathy in because, as you can see from her delightful demeanor, she's not really into fighting all that much. So I better let her know.
Yes.
K1 is a very, very famous kickboxing competition. And so this is where, and WCW, where Bob started his fight career, that's formerly a very famous pro wrestling in America. That's right. And then Pride FC was the precursor to the UFC, MMA. I suppose. It's MMA, mixed martial arts. And at the start of Pride, there were literally no rules. So you could kick men in the groin. You could go for the eyes.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
could you do eyes?
We could do some. I don't think we could kick them in the groin, but we could do stuff like some that then knee kicks, north south knees, head stomps, sausage kicks. Then they would later change some of the rules, but still the rounds and the way we fought is still today considered the most brutal and the most exciting ever.
So I'll show you some Pride later on. It's pretty extreme. Okay. So Bob, once you have your first fight in K1, and who was your first fight in K1 with?
My very first fight, I think, was in K1 with a gentleman by the name of Cyril Orbidi.
Okay, and so, but you became one of the most famous people in the history of Japan. So how did you go from NFL pro wrestler, now you're in the K1, how did the fame explosion happen?
Because then I was, 400 pounds or almost 200 kilos. So I was very young, very big, very muscular. And so I was able to dominate the majority of fighters out there, not only because of my size, but because of my size and athleticism. I was a third-round draft pick. I set many, many world records. No one really knew how strong or athletic I was. So, now, of course, they don't even allow it, okay? It's not even spoken of in America. That's how crazy dangerous it is. So they don't want people my size doing those type of moves at all.
Oh, really?
Okay, so America only limits them at 120 kilo or 100 or 265 pounds. But that was how much I weighed when I was 16 years old, okay? So they don't even allow that stuff to go higher than that in America.
Hang on, is that they don't allow it higher than that in the fight world or in the NFL?
In the fight world. In the fight world.
Right?
NFL, absolutely. NFL, you can do, you're big and you can do that, no problem. But fight world, no.
I see. I understand. So your athleticism. So it was fighting that made you famous. Was there a distinct moment which kind of broke you in Japan?
Several. So I ended up beating the two-time world championship champion kickboxer Ernesto Hoost, and I ended up almost powerbombing the then MMA or world champion of Pride, Noguera. I'm sure. I guess we just call him Noguera because I'll butcher his name otherwise. So Minotauro Noguera, Rodrigo Noguera. So we ended up going at it, and I ended up powerbombing him, where I basically powerbombed him and almost spiked him on top of his head. So everyone very, very excited when they see that one. And then, of course, I later became famous for the movie with Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, known as The Longest Yard. And that was when I did, and I said, you broke it in my nose.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So from fights to show business.
Yeah, show business. I'm excited about you in Japan. I heard you were in a lot of like Japanese TV shows as well that are actually not about wrestling or sports. So what kind of stuff did you do on TV?
Oh, absolutely. If you can talk about Japanese television shows or commercials, I've done numerous. Mm-hmm. So I've done everything from, of course, the Oishi commercials when you're commercials and television shows of when you're eating foods and they would like to see your reaction. Then, of course, I had several other commercials. I did the most memorable television show, I should say, was when they dressed me up in a Velcro suit. I had to jump off of a trampoline and jump onto a Velcro dartboard.
I'd run up. Show.
I had all Velcro all over me. I'd run up, jump on a trampoline, bounce into the air, and stick onto a big, gigantic Velcro target. Now, the only thing is that the suit sticks onto the Velcro target body. So it gave me a very big wedgie in front of the entire television camera. So that was very, very, very crazy.
There's nothing wrong with a Bob Sapp wedgie. You have a very muscular pair of buttocks. So I'm sure everyone loved it. All right, fantastic. And I was told, Bob, that there was another moment which really got you very popular in Japan when you were on a food show in which you picked up a piece of raw steak and just kind of munched it with your teeth.
Yes, so that was when I was talking about Ernesto Hoops, and I was saying, hey, listen, what's on the menu, I'm going to be eating something very raw, I'm going to eat the guy's heart, or I'm going to eat a piece of him. I threw up a piece of raw steak, and I caught it in my mouth, and I just bit into it, and they were just totally shocked and loving every bit of it. And that was actually one of my most memorable moments of doing that. And, I have many of them, obviously, in Japan, and I will always have those memories, but it's a very, very fun.
That's awesome, man. You've done more or less everything that possibly can be done in show business at this stage, I'd say. Superstar in Japan, but also Hollywood actor. You have a music CD, yeah?
Yes, I've done. So I did this one album, Sapp Time, and then they did another album in Japan, in Korea, where it was some Bob Sapp Christmas album that they produced. So it's been pretty interesting stuff. Isn't that crazy?
That's fantastic.
So you're beloved all around the world. Now in Japan, you said you've done the food shows, the variety shows. Can you tell us like another funny story out of one of those crazy Japanese variety shows? We have the Velcro suit. We have the raw steak. Can you think of anything else?
And yes, well, they used to have me basically come scare a lot of the comedians. So one of which they had a comedian that was just basically running down, had to keep running a marathon, and everyone had to kind of get him to divert him off of his course. They had to scare him off of his course. So I was chasing him. I came out of nowhere, started chasing him, and as he was looking at me, they had 4 or 5 people pop up with bow and arrows and shoot arrows at his feet to see if they can knock him off of his course. And I think that one almost got him off the course, man. So yeah, it was pretty crazy stuff.
These are extreme shows. They
Japanese
do not make
TV shows.
They don't make shows like this anymore, do they? This is
they were dangerous in those days.
Oh, they didn't care at all. And okay, so Bob, so super famous in Japan, Korea. Now, could you tell me about the Korea stuff? Because I don't know much about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Korea is my second biggest market. Quite recently, we had Hel-chan TV which means like a gym kind of fanatic. He came down to bear witness and to train with me. And so it's a lot of YouTubers or famous pro athletes coming over to train with me because I do a huge mobility program where I do it for like between 5 and 7 hours a day. So they like to kind of get in there and see if they can come in there and go with me and do that. And the Korean television, Hel-chan was down here. And well, we had a really great time, and so that kind of sparked up to where I was watching another show called Physical 100 there in Korea.
Yes.
And that made me go viral there, speaking about one of their actresses there on the show. So now it's very big time in Korea. So I'll be going to Korea quite soon, but doing the stuff that I do here in Thailand, it's difficult for me to get away.
Sure, I see. Bob, by your own estimation, what do you think it is about Bob the Beast Sapp that has really captured the imagination of the Japanese and now the Koreans? Because you're famous everywhere, but you're next dimension famous over here. So what do you think it is about Bob Sapp that got you that level of super fame?
Really accepting of the entire culture and of different cultures. So, a lot of Americans, they kind of complain about a lot of things and they want everything to be like America, just no in America, you know what I mean? And I've accepted the way things are being different. I've accepted the different cultures, languages, and particularly the different cuisines and the different foods. So it's no unusual to see me sitting right down here with the farmers and eating a big batch of grasshoppers and crickets and along with them. And it's so unusual for me to be in Africa and eating the different type of wild game meats and things like that. It's so unusual. So, and some of them they're raw and some of them they're cooked. So, I've absolutely been able to do that. And so with that, it kind of made me real accepting and basically everyone's kind of opened their doors to me, so to speak.
Wow, that is lovely. You're a man of the world. Did you say Africa?
Yes, I've traveled to over 150 different countries. So I've traveled an enormous amount.
Well, that's incredible. And you've been involved in some kind of business enterprise in Guatemala recently, yeah?
Okay, so what I was doing there in Guatemala, well, now it's I had a lion sanctuary down there to where I was dealing with some of the lions and stuff.
What?
We basically closed that down for the moment just because we're going to now basically build a bigger lake on there and do a big kind of lake pond where these guys can kind of run around a bit. So we're still working on that to finish it anyway, the new renovations.
I heard you're enthusiastic about studying animal behavior and animal management, which sounds completely new.
Yes, so that was so in Guatemala. Yeah, so in Guatemala was my lions, and with that animal psychology, I love to use that with the sanctuary of my lions. And right now, the sanctuary is being remodeled to put in a big lake. We're going to do a big lake and do all this kind of stuff in there. So that's what we're going to be doing, or that's what we're working on.
So yes,
sorry, that lion sanctuary.
Please explain the lions. We've gone from Japanese show business
to lions.
To lions. Please explain, sir?
You have your own lions in Guatemala?
Oh, so I've always loved cats and exotic animals and things like that. And Guatemala is one of those basically once you get all your licenses and stuff, one of those friendly places where you can have exotic pets and things like that. So that's where I ended up kind of saying root in getting the property and stuff down.
Wow. So I'm sorry. You've said that you're a lover of big cats, but what makes a man say, I'm super famous in Japan, I'm super famous in Korea? You know something I haven't done yet? Bought a bunch of lions and made a lion park in Guatemala. How does this come to be?
Yeah, exactly that's exactly how it works. You just want to have something that's going to always make your mind work and at the same time give you a level to where you can really feel, you have that excitement every day. And lions is one of the animals that do that. Now, I've discovered other animals to do that as well. So like for here in Thailand, for example, we have many different types of fish, different types of large predatory fish. So that it still goes on no matter where I'm at.
Oh my goodness, Bob! Do you have a particular fascination with animals that might kill you?
I just love the predatory animals. I think they're great.
Wow!
The beast, ladies and gentlemen.
The beast, truly the beast. Wow!
That's it.
I love it.
Did you to engage with like lions and stuff? Did you have to like study something? Are you currently studying something?
Yes, it's always a good idea for one. Your best studying is your hands-on approach, Okay, and then your next best studying, of course, is using that along with what you are studying in your animal psychology. And those are just different variations of the several successful trainers that have worked with lions and other animal rescuers that have worked with them throughout the years.
Holy moly, my friend. That is that's pretty remarkable. Have you had any close calls with the lions or the man-eating fish?
No. Well, now plenty with my fish, especially my arapaima, sometimes like to jump out of the water and scare you if you're on the phone. And that could almost knock down my arapaima. My arapaima in particularly, they are roughly about almost 2 meters long and I would say about 65 kilograms. So they're pretty big.
Wow.
I have to tell you, that's a kind of fish I've never heard of before.
Wow. Okay.
That's remarkable to me, Bob. And
So wait a second. We start in America, and American football, then pro wrestling, martial arts, kickboxing, acting, and massive showmaster, everything in that industry, and now lions and man-eating fish. And wow, is there anything like else that we haven't mentioned yet? Because it's already quite the life of like 10 people.
Yeah, well, I mean, besides, I think the only thing that besides, Cover Time Magazine, Wall Street Journal, #1 movie in the world, fight in the world, the other thing they'd like to bring up is the fact that I had made over 400 products in my name, likeness, and image, and one of them was a Bob Sapp sex toy that was the bestseller in Japan for 2 years. So that was kind of the interesting situation there.
wow, did you get
Which country did release that?
Japan?
Japan? Japan.
It was Japan.
That was in Japan.
Well,
That was in Japan, and so
Of course.
yep, and you can still see the some of the Bob Sapp slot machine in the video games and stuff like that. You can see those on YouTube and of course the various commercials. So yep,
Wow.
I've primarily done every dream there could be imagined for anybody to do and have a lot of success at it. So it makes retirement quite interesting for somebody like myself,
So talk us through retirement, Bob. What are you doing now? You say you own a resort in Thailand?
Well, no, I live on a private resort, so that was one of the things for having me to retire. So that means I have, chef, maid, driver, and all that stuff. So basically my day consists of waking up, playing with my pet fish, enjoying my pet rabbits, pet fish, and my dogs and cats and things like this, and training hardcore bodyweight mobility exercises for 7 to 10 hours, and then basically studying some more and playing around with some more of my friends and pets, and that's just how it goes. So now in Thailand, I do a fight circus show to where we do some kind of comedy retirement type of stuff, and that's called Fight Circus. I just did it with Quentin Rampage, where we wore a big T-shirt and we punched at the same time, calling it super twin boxing and all this kind of stuff. So yep. So I put on these shows over there with that. So I kind of come in and out of here to help to kind of tie so people have fun, the different. So other than that, that's what retirement looks like. And I go up and down East Asia doing this in Thailand, Bali, Vietnam, and I usually do it in and out of a 5-star luxury hotels. So I just got back from Bali doing the same thing. So it's a great retirement situation.
That's remarkable. Wow. You're not retired at all,
Bob.
You're
still punching people. Fight circus.
Fight circus. Fight.
That's
yes.
When do you bring the lions with you to the fight circus? Bob Sapp's gonna ride a lion?
So yeah. Right now they're no here, but we will be speaking about how we're going to be engaging different animals here in the near future. So yeah, we just had the twin boxing going on there. That took us a second, so we got to get past some of these things first.
Yeah, right. Wow, Bob, you have lived the life of about 14,000 people, my friend.
With all the different gigs, they're all in different areas, right? How do you do the switch from animals to, for example, stage? Or how do you deal with like the pressure, or is there any kind of skills that people could learn from you, or do they just have to be the Sapp to know?
You know what? You just got to kind of you just got to, for having a clear understanding and of animals, you just got to basically, no matter what it is, you just have to engage with them almost all the time. Like right behind me here is 20 Australian tree frogs.
Oh.
So now, yeah. So that's right behind me here. That's a big terrarium tank right behind me right there. So I have animals everywhere because that's one of the things that I like to engage in, is just a tremendous amount of nature, feeling free, enjoying water, nature. And then I like the aspect of really getting involved with them. So, I mean, how great is this that, for example, the snakehead fish is very colorful and it's very, very hardy. So it's very easy to take care of, but it's super aggressive. You cannot even have these fish in America, but in Thailand, you have them and they come in a variety of different colors and they're so amazing and they're awesome. So I have all of these larger type fish like this here, and it's just amazing.
What like sparked your passion for creatures? Because I assume in Japan you weren't able to have exotic creatures. So when did that start?
Yes, so I've always wanted to have more and more pets, but you know, of course, I was, like I said, I was working. So, and then the pets that I had back home, they ended up obviously passing away. So once it was time for me to retire and get out of the United States, you know, I knew hey, all I had to do was pack my dogs and cats, and then I knew after that I could get whatever I wanted to do according to, you know, what country I had to go into and the laws and stuff. So I just picked some countries that would go where you're treated best, and I went to the places where I was treated best.
That's amazing. Don't answer this question if you don't want to, but do you have residencies and citizenships in all these countries, Bob?
Some of them, yes, but in Thailand, no. I have the different visas that they can come over for the retirees and for their different elite athletes or whatever. So, you know,
I see.
It's pretty nice.
Do people recognize you on the street now in Thailand?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, there's you know, there's no country that's not going to recognize who I am to whatever, and especially, you know, walking around at 6'5" with maybe 8% body fat at 320 pounds. You know, even when I take my shirt off, there's going to be you know, I'm getting around 50 to 70 people to come, pictures, autographs, and it gets worse from there. And sometimes they had security come and escort me out and stuff like that. But I've managed to control that. So I only go to these certain areas on where it's announced and people do it, because you have to remember, I'm in a place where Muay Thai is very famous. So already they know me for K1. And then you have another place. Then I'm in a place where all the tourists know about all the highlights that are going on over there in the internet. So, for example, when I had a push and shove against Mike Tyson, or when I almost got Mike Tyson out of retirement to come and fight me, that's 173 million views on that thing. Everybody wants to see me and talk about that stuff. And then when they see how I look, they all want to have a picture. And then if my shirt is off, it's going to be a long time. So I do, you know, take my time and then kind of structure how I'm going to go places and stuff like that, just in case there's more and more fans and stuff. But of course, when I most recently went to Bali, the fans were so accepting there, and it was such a great time that, you know, I'm able to go back. Same thing, Vietnam. So wherever I'm going, I always treat that utmost respect, and I'm very, very blessed with that.
That is fantastic. Bob, what would be your advice for someone who wants to get into either showbiz or Japan or animals? Do you have any advice for anyone who wants to get into these activities?
Anybody? Well, I have an open mind and be adventurous. So, you know, what it took for me was to be able to go out of the United States and actually live in Japan. You know, I packed for 5 days and stayed for 5 years. So, you know, that's how that works. Yeah. So, you know, you just gotta basically do it. And so a lot of people now, they think I'm nuts. They're like, man, Bob, you know, you don't even live in the United States anymore. That's correct. So I can go out to any country now and live comfortably because I know how to deal with the cultures, the people, the real estate, the languages, the laws and stuff. I can go anywhere, and that's because of how Japan started me off. So, it's fine. You know, I enjoy it. There's 196 countries. I've been to over 150. So, you know, I'm very pleased with the way my career and the way my profession has handled it.
I'm really curious about what does like a day in the life of Bob Sapp look like? What time do you get up? How much training do you do? Like, what is like this time I get up? Is there like a routine you do to like keep this fit?
The routine that I do is basically the routine of being retired. So that basically means it's like, so I can get up at 5 in the morning and I can train till 6 in the night or 7 at night from 5 in the morning, or I can get up. Sometimes I'll be playing video games at 3 in the morning. I'll wake up and just go work out at 3 in the morning, come back, you know, because here's the thing. I have the same day no matter what it is. So it don't matter, you know what I mean? So there's no bedtime I have. There's nothing, you know, so there's no time I have to get up. You know, my staff come in, they take out the pets and they feed all the pets around here. I just play with my pets. I don't need to, you know, pick up any of their food or things like that. I got big plate. That's already handled. Everything's handled. So my day in the life is just get up and to relax and enjoy every bit of the life. And that usually just includes the most intricate, crazy part of my day is they give me a list of restaurants or a recipes and say, what do you want to eat? That's it. So, you know, it's pretty good.
That's remarkable, Bob. Bob, is there anything happening in Bob Sapp's future that you want to tell the people about? You don't really need any PR, but is there anything you want to tell everybody about what comes next for Bob Sapp?
Future plans?
So one, my Instagram and everything is back. That's at Bob Sapp Official.
Okay.
And you're going to see me doing the Fight Circus. So look to see me doing more of the Fight Circus shows. I've quite recently teamed up with a lot of the 5-star luxurious hotels up and down East Asia. You'll see more on that later, where you can come in and train with me and other celebrity professional athletes. Just get a training session in. And of course, with that training session, there is the party session too. So it's an actual fitness resort. So it's extreme wellness to where the training programs are really extreme, but so is the partying and the spas and everything else. So we're just working now and getting that stuff settled out. So it's really fun stuff.
Sounds amazing.
That's fantastic. Well, Bob, thank you so much for coming on the Cat with Beard from Japan podcast. This has been fantastic, my friend. Can we get one more ha before we say goodbye, please?
That's Bob the Beast Sapp on with Cat and Beard.
Lawson, thank you so much, my friend. Wonderful to talk to you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cathy
Cat.
Cat.
See you soon.
See you soon, brother. Thank you so much. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, all right.
Bye-bye.
Well, okay, we just had Bob Sapp on the show after you guys met. How was that like?
It was what a
8
character.
years later? You said 8 years
it's
later?
8 years or something. What a character.
Thank you so much for not mentioning what happened in episode number 1.
Bob, don't go watch episode number 1.
Don't watch episode number 1. This is
anyone who's not Bob, watch episode number 1 and you'll find out all about Cathy Cat's illustrious history with Bob Sapp.
But it was really exciting to see him. I mean, like, even on the screen that we could see, he's huge.
Oh, he's whopping. He's a giant human. We
Wow.
say 6'5". He's currently 150 kilos or some nonsense. Just remarkable.
That is just incredible. That's a story of success we just heard right now.
He said he got up to 200 kilos at some point. So just whopping. Just
that is a story. Oh my gosh. So how is that seeing him again after 8 years?
It's great. You know, he's more or less the same from a personality standpoint. He's fantastic. You know, very, very kind, very, very friendly. And you can hear when he was talking about how he's got no problem with being famous and going out and taking photos for 3 hours with everyone who wants the photo. So he's, very, very humble and very, very kind. And when people want the autograph and the photo, he's there to give it to them. Never gets all uppity about it or anything like that. What a wonderful man. So
I'll always remember the way you explained it also. Like, he's huge, but he has like a kind face and a cute smile. Yeah. And I think, like you mentioned it in episode 1 of our podcast, that is actually one of the qualities that Japanese people love so much about him as well. It's the gyapu, so the gap of or the breaking of expectations almost in a way.
He's, I heard him described by one of my friends as he's like a Sanrio character. because he's so massive, but at the same time, he's so cute. So from a Japanese perspective, he's like the perfect appeal, you know? That was incorrect English, but he has the perfect appeal. He's, you know, all rah and also all ha ha ha. So,
and even in retirement, he's doing so much cool stuff.
It's amazing.
Seriously. That is just the life. It was great to have the Beast on the show.
I need to show you all those various fight videos that he referenced.
I think I need to check those one out too, and you guys too. I think that's something to check out later after you finish watching this episode and the episode before of Cat with Beard from Japan.
Cathy Cat, where are you on the internet?
Well, you guys already know it's Cathy Cat _TV, both with a C, not with a K. Hey, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and such. I do stream at least several times every week. So come on over, hang out with me on Twitch and ask me questions. And Ladybeard.
At Ladybeard _Japan on the internet, and my group Babybeard at Babybeard_Japan.
It was
all bubbling from that Bob Sapp goodness.
That was an
awesome,
exciting experience. I hope you guys are hyped for it. Let us know how hyped you are or where you know Bob Sapp from in the comments on the YouTube channel. Once this is up on YouTube, and if you're just listening, I hope you enjoyed the experience. I hope it came over okay. That was really interesting.
Officially never gonna get a higher profile guest than that. That was remarkable.
Probably the highest profile guest on the show.
Unless we get like the president or something like that on the show.
Oh, you know what? Challenge is on. The challenge is on over there, director.
Prime Minister of Japan.
Yes,
let's get him on the Cat with
the air. Let's do it. I'm excited to see who we're gonna have next on the show. But this was definitely absolute exciting. And guys, thank you so much for following us on our Twitter, Cat with Beard from Japan with news. And don't forget also the YouTube channels. I'm looking forward to your comments. So I'll see you soon on the next episode with
Cat with Beard. Bye-bye. I love you, Bob Sapp.
You're awesome.